All right, welcome to the weekly distribution demo. This week we've got an interesting problem. Not sure exactly what's going on. We're going to be debugging it. The idea was we're going to do a Postgres load balancing uh, demonstration. And in setting up the load balancing, I'm running into an issue where the trigram extension is not being seen while during the migration job. And so we just sort of left off starting to look at that. So we're going to sort of backtrack here a bit, and I'll go back into here with showing a little bit of what we're. Let me get my screen shared, showing what's going on. All right, so I've set up a Postgres cluster with 2 slaves, and replication is set up and running. I manually installed the trigram extension, and then in the process of bringing up GitLab, and of course now the migrations are gone. Let's see if I can find the old one. Does it show us logs? No, it's not going to show us the logs. I'm not probably going to have to kill it and get it going again. Let's do that real quick so people can see the uninstall and reinstall real quick, and that way we can see the error show up and start tracking it from there. Okay. So prior to this point, once I got the Postgres cluster installed, went in through the PSQL command as an admin user, as the admin user, and executed the create extension PG underscore TRGM. Showed that it was installed, further invocations to try to install it failed, saying it was already installed, which makes sense. During the debugging a couple minutes ago, looking at the PG underscore extension table, it does show it there under the admin user, but not under the GitLab user. And that's partly what we're going to see here in a minute. All right, so we have our migrations running. And this is what we get. We get, well, now we're failing to connect to, is it just not up yet? It's gotta be what it is.
Yeah, that's a matter of Redis just not quite being up yet.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, there we go. We just successfully connected to Redis. And boom, there we go. And if we turn off auto scroll for a second, we come right up here, starting to run the look at migration, looking to install the trigram extension, but it's already installed. But as we saw a few minutes ago, the GitLab user was not seeing it. So that's sort of where we left off, and I think that's probably where we should start up again. Unless, Jason, if you have any other thoughts on what else to look at, help people try, debug this.
I gonna have to go look at that. I will take a second call out. Everybody knows how long those cycles used to take. So there's your visualization of how fast those cycles go now.
True.
So the place to debug this is from inside of the task runner pod. This is the admin's friend. It's equivalent to having the console on the omnibus node, or very close to it. So it is a full demo environment. basically the biggest questions are going to be, are we attached to the right database? And why, if the extension is indeed present, why do we not have access to it as the GitLab user? And what do we have to do to get that access? Because we shouldn't be running into a problem where it's trying to create the extension if the extension exists. But if it can't see it, it's kind of a problem.
I'm going to first connect as Postgres just to show that we're seeing and how it gets set up. Um,
Gerard,
so
can you connect to the same database as the GitLab user,
Sure.
though?
Sure.
I think that might end up being the difference.
All right. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I think if you had enabled it on the template database, it would have come through. If you had enabled it on the template database before having created the GitLab database, it would have come through. Or otherwise, I think you actually have to enable it right directly on this database.
Okay, because I thought extensions were for the entire instance, not for a specific database. Okay, so that clears up a bit of that. But I probably did it. Yeah, I probably just execute on the Postgres database. So in theory, I come back in here. If I can type the password correctly. There we go. Okay. If that's the case. Let migrations run again.
Hey.
Yes, all right. All right. So maybe we can make this a useful demo. Okay. I'm going to take a note and I will add a MR to further expand that in the external Postgres documentation. Make sure it gets added to the correct database.
Yeah, and it
So I
might be
think in
worth
there we only.
it might be worth a reach. Sorry, Gerard.
Sorry. I was just saying, I think in there we only specify that the extension needs to be installed.
Yeah, and it might be worth when you're doing that to double check the upstream documentation, because it had been my impression as well that there was a global way to enable it as well. And it might just be some other method. I'm not sure, but yeah, certainly I've experienced recently that it has to be done either on the template database prior to a new database being created, or on the database itself that you intend to have it enabled on.
And the migration's completed.
All right. There we go. All right, and we're running there. So now we need to add, well, we gotta wait till it fully starts up, but add a license. Get that queued up here. All right, now I gotta figure out where I put. I know I had it here. License I generated a while ago. And I put in one password. Just what did I list it under? Are we up and running yet? Yes. So I should be able to get a login window now. Good.
We see the terminal, just so you know.
Yep. No, that's fine. I mean, I'm only getting into the GUI just to set the license.
That's fine.
So. Come on. All right, now back to there. All right, give me a second while I'm still looking for the license. There, is that it? No, that's the one in, although that might work. Now, let me try this one since I can't find mine real quick. License. I think this is just a, oops, is not a enterprise, but what is it? It is a plan starter. That might be a problem. Okay, we'll see. Meanwhile, I can keep looking for my license. Try to figure out why I can't just pick it right up. All right, so license has been added. Now, I may still have a bit of a problem with how I'm listing the secondaries at the moment. Let's look at that. CM. Is it CM or is it actually secrets with a? I guess it's secrets with a. That's going to be the database YAML that's listed.
Yeah, the database.yml is going to be in the config map.
It is in the config map. Okay.
Yeah, we use it as a database.yaml.erb, which then reads in the secret from the file
Secrets,
system.
okay, that's why. Um, yeah, we should have. But we're, that's the host. Why am I not seeing, I would think I would see the load balancing here too.
Can you show us the configuration used for
Yep,
the
certainly.
global.psql?
So this is partly the configuration I was working with last week. So I was actually using this guy, and I talked with DJ a little while ago. There's a bit more than just that, but I would expect at least to be seeing that.
Okay. It's actually because you have load dash balancing instead of underscore balancing.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a snake case.
darn it.
Good news is it's a very simple fix. And since the database is already configured, it'll run super fast.
Oh, that's the other thing we need to put in the notes. Where did that tab go? There it is. All right, so one of the things DJ found is that the slave service cluster IP needs to be set to none for Cube DNS to properly respond and give back individual records, A records. All right.
That is what's referred to as a headless service. And instead of having it work as a proxy point, it actually just hands out all the individual IPs in round robin behavior. Hence the magic there.
Record, like if you do a record, it gives you all of them. Is that?
If you do an A record, it will give you a different one every single time you ask.
Okay.
Okay, now we're seeing it there. Good. Now, I'm not using the headless, which is I think another issue. And in trying to get this going, I'm not sure if I actually did the set the slave service to the cluster IP to none, but all right. So at this point, ideally, we should at least see something. Now where did that go? The database load balancing log. I've not even begun to start looking for that. Is that, what pod is that stored in?
That would be in any of the Rails pods actually using load balancing. So web service, Sidekick.
Yep, okay. Is it var opt?
It would be
GitLab or
var log.
just var log? Okay. Wasn't sure if it's there, if we put it somewhere else. Ah, CD. Wow, there we go. Okay. Why are we not turned on?
Well, the first thing we should
level
do is
of-
check the config.
What level
Make
of
sure.
license did you put in?
What? Well, that's the thing. I was looking for the enterprise license I generated a while back, and I'm not finding it in my 1Password at the moment. There is the EE test license, which is what I originally used, and found out that was not useful. That's why I ended up loading it just now, just to try to keep moving forward. Let me see.
Yeah, I think you
Well-
need at least a premium license. for
Okay,
it to
yeah, does
kick
not
off.
seem to be premium. Let me look again for the license.
And if you have trouble finding it, let me know. You can send me over the domain and root password via message, and I'll load my license in because I know exactly where it's at.
Let me do that because I'm not finding mine at the moment to keep us moving forward. So, there you go. I'd like to know where I put this though. Oh, I bet I put in my general GitLab record here. Employee. Yep, there it is. Okay.
You got it?
I've got it if you haven't done it yet.
Not quite.
Okay, then let me upload a new license. Copy that. There we go. I thought I had just put it in a separate record. It was attached into another record I had. So, all right, we now show Ultimate. That's good. Now I imagine that things would restart, right? Well, no, we have to restart the pods, right?
Yeah, you have to restart the pods. Yeah.
That's okay.
So you can actually just restart the container. I mean, it's a lot easier to just restart the pods, but you can do just the container.
Is that, can you do that down in here and just say restart that? I'm not sure how.
Actually, I'm not sure 100% how to do it from KNS. So
Yeah, I'm not sure either. So I'll just restart the pod then. Which one was?
so just hit space and select all the web service pods and all the Sidekick pods, and then delete them. They'll recreate. You'll be fine.
It's got me thinking about what users, if users upgrade the license, do they know to do any of this, or do we make an assumption there?
I think with most cases, upgrading the license is not a problem. It's just in this case because the database connections need to get recreated. We have to
Gotcha.
kill off these pods.
I was just thinking in general, if I upgrade a license and add a feature, or that enables a feature that I previously didn't have, do we ever take that into account? Or do we assume that at some point the pods and things cycle out and you end up with a eventually correct set of features.
I don't think that we have a like a license specific document on the chart side that tells you like how to restart in the case of a license change. Most features don't require a restart to enable a feature. This is
Gotcha.
one of the ones that do.
Gotcha. Okay. Like I said, it just got me thinking about it. Like, how would I know?
I wonder if this is something else we should also add to the external Postgres document.
I think this is one that we should add to our documentation, but not just Postgres, because it would affect anybody who installed a license, upgraded, renewed their license. It's literally a part of license management that we need to make clear throughout the wider documentation, not just necessarily the charts, that, hey, when you update this, you may have to restart your processes.
Okay. Yeah, that notes also.
Jason's got it covered in there.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, I don't want
Thank
to detract too much. It just, like I say, it was kind of a head scratcher moment when I was thinking
you.
about
No,
how
good
folks
thought.
would know.
I think in the
Good thought.
past, engineering has actually used this as a reason to push back on requiring licensing for config related items and like instead catching it at a different layer. But it looks like this is one that managed to go through.
Yeah, swinging in and like injecting a database and middleware. Like, we've activated a license. Let's just right in the middle of the operating stack. It's kind of a weird spot.
Yeah, typically, and this might have happened, we would have pushed for the config piece of it at least to have been supported in core.
Well, the config piece isn't the tricky part here. You can configure it and it'll just ignore it. It's the fact that the actual loading of the extra middleware shim only happens if you have the premium license installed at the time of application start.
Okay, even after those pods restart, I'm still not seeing the database load balancing log. Okay, that's there.
So it looks right.
Yeah. Good there. I wonder if there's something I don't have left here, do we? Set that down. Um, okay. Is there anything else here? I just like looking to see where there might be information about the database being opened up and so forth. So that's not an application log though, is it? No, it can't be. Is it? Let's take a look. Yeah.
Okay, so the immediate question is, what will cause an actual log event to be generated, or how can we detect if load balancing is actually active, since we're not immediately seeing a log file?
It's supposed to create the log file on startup. And then it might take a few minutes for it to have events logged for detecting that the replicas are online, but it should have a log file as soon as the Rails started. As soon as Rails finished starting.
Okay, so go ahead and jump into one of the web service containers. They're one of the ones most likely to have this file.
Yeah, that's where I started out and wasn't seeing it there. Oh, now we do. Okay, so it just took a little longer. So we see online. Hello.
Yep.
Okay. Now, realistically, I should have reworked this a bit more so it separated out individual hosts instead of using the generic read service. But at least we're connecting now and looking a little bit better. Certainly a whole lot better than I was doing last week.
Jared, you said that to make so each line would be specific to the host. Is that?
Yeah, well, ideally what we should have done, or what I should have done, if I could type. Right now, I just generically used for my testing last week of just using the read service, which groups all the replicas into one service. And what I should have done is I should have separated that out so it's a line item for every slave service we have.
I would
So-
actually say that's not a requirement.
No, it's
so
not, but
the
it'd be nice to have.
documentation specifically says, if you have a primary and two secondaries, then your DNS should point to whichever one is master at the time, and your secondary DNS should point to whichever one is secondary at the time. So this demo actually is accurate to that regard because your secondary replicas are answering at that service.
True.
So yes, you could specify a binary host, which actually is what I did when I did my testing. But that was because I didn't have DNS that I could access at the time. So I'd argue that actually that's not a bad way to do it.
Okay. If
Gotcha.
we had time, which we've run out of time, but I would have loved to have set up the discovery too and get that working, but we'll leave that for another time, or someone else can take that in a future week.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. I left some comments in the original MR on how we can manage to feature test with console involved or not involved and how to do that discovery behavior. The Rails code base assumes, lovely, that you're talking to console because that's what we use as a part of the omnibus and what we use with production. So it's more how do you attach console in the right way to interact with the Kubernetes environment. Whether it's in or outside gets interesting.
Yeah. So, all right. I know we're over a little bit, but that's about all I have for this week. Is there any other questions or anything else someone wants to see?
For an example, go ahead and just delete the master or the primary database pod.
Okay.
So in theory, because it has read replicas, we should not actually have any kind of problem perusing the site while this is actually happening.
Well, what I'll do is I'll switch over to my browser and I can kill it and we can see it actually continue browse here. So let me switch here. So yeah, pick the right browser, good, okay. So here we are, haven't done anything to the to it yet, but we can start to create one.
Well,
Although if I kill the master, I won't be able to create
Right.
the project. I'll only be able to, so let me
If you
create
navigate the admin screens, then you should be able to
oh, that's true
uh,
too. Yeah, that's
not have to worry about rights.
Okay. So, that window selected, that window selected. And come on, die. I wonder if this is coming up this is coming up fast enough. I can't. It's as soon as I hit delete, it's back up and running. Trying to think, is there a way we can stall it?
Well, I mean, we
You
tried.
can just scale the replicas down to 0 on the master if you want.
Oh, that'll work.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Deploy. Wow. Boy. It's not a deployment, so is it a, oh, it's just
It's going
set
to
up
be a
as a
stateful
stateful
set.
set? Okay. Zero replicas, okay. And I see it terminating, so it's now gone, so there we go. Still up and running, which looks good. So that looks like success.
Yeah. So as an example, go to General and sign up and try to disable sign up.
Oh.
Boom.
Ooh. Is that just a fluke? Can I still get?
Yeah. Application settings likes to try and actually live read off the master. And that, of course, will cause it to actually fail. So you can see here that the master, the write copy is down, but the things that don't require that are actually able to be used without a problem.
I'm trying to get back to the top level. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere either.
And from that point, we should be able to just look at a web service and just glance, oh, what's failing? But it managed to stay up right up until about the point probably the expiration went and it tried to reach the primary again.
Yeah, I mean, on the GitLab side, everything's still looking good. So yeah. Readiness, the health check's coming back. That's good. Yeah, just not able to get to top level anymore. I don't know if it's a matter of, is it when I come back into the top level page, is it trying to re-authenticate me and then can't? No, it should be just a read at that point.
I think there's a limit to how many reads it will perform against this, the secondaries before it attempts to go back to the primary.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because the load balancing is intended for load balancing, not really for disaster.
Fault tolerance or HA, yeah. Yeah, we're getting bad connection to the Postgres.
right. But the point is, we're getting a bad connection to the primary.
To the primary,
that's what we expect.
True.
So let's say overall it worked.
Okay. It just seems like I'd still be able to get in and just sort of browse around and read. even though the master's gone, but okay.
We did for like 30 seconds and then it went away.
All right, sounds good. Anything else? The good of the order. Hearing nothing, I would say that we can conclude this demo.